I know. It's been a while since I uploaded, even longer than the span of time between the first video and the second video. But welcome back, everybody. Now, the reason is that I've been pretty busy. So let me explain what I've been up to until now. We're back. Alright, so to begin with was the First Triathlon, which was on June 15th, which will be the main event of this video. On July 28th, I completed my first marathon ever in San Francisco. Now, it was incredibly painful because it consisted of only going up and going down. Very few times was it flat. But it was followed by a week of experiences out of this world in Napa Valley with my family. Finally, Saturday of this past weekend, I went to Cleveland, Ohio to compete in the age group nationals for triathlon. I ended up 19th out of 50 people in the 18 to 19 age group, which I am very proud of because we are the best of the US. In that age group, of course, not everybody, because there's people who are a bit faster than us. My father and I learned a lot from the experience, which is why I'm happy that I went, even though I didn't place in some of the best of the event. Now that you are all caught up with everything that I've done until pretty much the last video, let's talk about the First Triathlon. But before that, I wanted to talk about today's lighting, as you can see. Now, I wanted to keep that going for the rest of the video, but I personally don't think that it's good, because while I'll be commentating and you'll be reacting to the triathlon video, I think you should see my face clearly so you can see me talk and understand more about the race. Here we go! Okay, so I must have done something wrong, because the light clearly didn't change. Let me grab my editing notebook and see what it says. Now, that is not the correct page. Well, clearly, still not the right page. There we go. Okay. So it states here, use your right hand to change clothing. Oh. I see what it means. And use the left hand to change the lighting. Well, if you had said so first, my good book. Here we go.
You have to lay it on land if you're looking at the water. To your left there,
as you can see here, I am currently walking back from the transition area. And then afterwards, you go get your number on this arm, that arm, and both legs. Then you suit up into your wetsuit, and everybody goes for a swim to warm up. You also have to work going into the water and out of the water. Then we all listen to the national anthem, because you do that for every competition. These are the men of my heat. We were all wearing purple caps, and then this is the start of the race. We are just waiting to go in. We couldn't really hear the start line, but then, you know, they were all cheering and we all started to run. And we just went into the water. There you go, we're still swimming. My parents are actually saying that I'm in the lead of the race, which, you know, since it was my first race, I wasn't really supposed to be leading it because I didn't know what to do. And as you can see here, there's that white buoy and then the yellow one, and as you can see, I'm the closest guy to the camera. And I didn't really know where to go, so I was kind of going towards the white one, but I was supposed to come back to the shore. And I could feel the ground underneath, so I started to walk and run, but we didn't know if that was allowed, which is what my mother is saying. So I did it, and then I went back, and then I started to run. And everybody was cheering for me, so, you know, that's pretty cool, you know, being the first one out of the water. But that's because swimming is my best sport out of all three. Here are some of the other guys getting out of the water.
Here they come.
They are going to the transition area where they get their bikes and then start going out. Now that's the first guy of maybe the sprint or the Olympic, I don't know which one. But what happened to me was that I actually started the race, did about 3 or 5 miles and got a flat tire on the uphill, so that's why I couldn't ride for the rest of the thing. But I still did the 2 laps of the running. I ended up only doing 1 lap of the biking. It was disappointing because I didn't even qualify for the nationals at that time, which is why I ended up doing a second race in Maine, and it is called the Sebago Lake Triathlon. This is the t-shirt for the Sebago Lake Triathlon. Of course, during this race, I did not have a flat tire, so you'll get the whole experience, even some of the running. When I'm setting up my bike in the morning, somehow I always end up talking to the beginners, not the beginners, but at that point, the people who were still at my level, so that's what I'm doing right now. Here, you can see that we're all setting up, all with the neon yellow caps, all in that age group, pretty much all the men that are doing the Olympic race. I actually was leading the race once again. The beginning was really tight, you know, I was really close to them, and I fought. That's the thing with the swimming in the triathlon part. You're like fighting with the person next to you. This is me at the ending, when I'm just at the ending, you know, coming out of the water. But during most of the swimming part, I was zigzagging, so you don't exactly know where you're going. It was a triangle, and it was really tough. This is me coming back from after the bike, the 24 miles. I'm still first in the race, but I bet you they're not that far away from me. The person in front of me is actually someone doing the sprint triathlon, so they're not competing against me. Now, this is the transition. You still have to run through it. It's a tough part. My water bottle actually fell and I had to hold the bike better, but you know. You run. You have to take off your shoes, put the bike on the stand, and then put on your running shoes.
Come on.
And of course, you go back and you go running. But what I had forgotten, as you'll see in a second, is that I forgot to take off my helmet. Now I grab the water bottle and I start running. I don't really like having a water bottle with me, but you know, I mean, it's handy. Even though the bike and the run courses are not the official length of a normal triathlon, Olympic triathlon, it was still really tough because it was pretty much all uphill and downhill. The bike was 2 times the same lap, and the run was 2 times the same loop again. But then the third loop it wasn't a loop, it was half a loop, and it ended up with a downhill and back to a downhill. So this is me finishing on my first loop, and I was a bit confused on where I was supposed to go for the second loop, even though it was the same thing. And I just threw my water bottle to my parents. And then here's the end of the second loop going to the third, and as you can see, it's not the same course. So this is the finish of the race.
Good job.
Can you?
Man in the Olympic triathlon.